That's awesome. So, what I was trying to say is ki, uh, trading in itself is very difficult, to be honest. Pretty difficult. I've been trading for 5 years, with 2 years full time trading and 3 years part time of working and doing it the way. So, those 2 years of full time trading was the toughest. The reason I would say is the toughest is because it's just that you do not know what the outcome is. The very first thing, you do not know if you're ever going to be a trader. You do not know if things are basically going to work out the way you planned. And when I was trading, there was this pressure of not knowing if you'll ever become a trader, not having enough money to trade, having a low budget which you have saved up from your previous job, dangling up with your career, not sure what to tell your parents. So yes, all this was there. So I didn't know what I was getting myself. I knew what I was getting myself into. It's not I didn't know. It's just that it was pretty difficult. It's a pretty dark phase to be in. You end up not talking to anyone. You try to create your own reality, to be very honest. You start perceiving things differently. You start being ignorant. You start seeing, you start saying to yourself, is it all worth it at the end of the day? When you get that question about you asking yourself if it is all worth it at the end of the day, and the answer to that question has to be very clear of why you're doing it. For me, it is mostly I believe that this is for me. I knew that trading is something that is for me. I thank myself every single time I traded, saying that thank you for introducing me to this industry. Because I was pretty clueless, not knowing what to do. The amount of mental effort, the amount of trauma that you have to go through to become or to master a skill like this, very difficult. The amount of loneliness, the amount of pain and shit. Anyways, it's all part of the process. But again, it's about how you can push through. And main point I wanted to cover was ki I try to attempt this, try to go through this process very alone, meaning that I not want to speak to anyone. I wanted my thoughts for myself. I wanted my thoughts to be as clear as possible. I used to write down. I used to write down a lot of stuff. I wrote down every thought that basically came into my head. Every thought that basically came into my head. I wrote it down. I read it. I told I should not be doing it, and I kept doing it. That's the thing, right? You keep doing it. See, the way the curve improves at some point is you keep doing it for a very long amount of time to finally put yourself in that extent of pain that you can't go through it anymore. Now, this that extent of pain is what I'm trying to tell is ki if this is the point, tipping point, if it tips, the balance tips over, then you're basically either you're going to be very mentally unstable to that extent. The very next day, if you keep continuing, you're just going to go mad. You'll definitely be have to put in some psychiatric hospital to get back that extent of mental pain and mental into it. And I pushed myself to that extent for 2 years, every single day, every single second. I cut down social media, I cut down porn, I cut down eating junk. I trained myself. I tried to meditate, cried every single day. That is something that was pretty consistent, crying every single day, again and again and again, to realize that at some point, either you are going to cease to exist, like you're going to either die, or you at least, or you're going to succeed. Then to that extent of thinking. So I don't know to what extent did reap me results yet, because I have not traded full time at this point in time. I'm working as of now at a company called Connect as a sales rep. So yeah, I personally wanted to take a break for some time. It's been like 6 months, not 6 months, like it's been like 5 months, 4 to 5 months of break from trading. Now, when I say break, it is not like completely cut it down. I usually spend 1, 2 hours on the screen. But yeah, now when did I realize ki, you can say the holy grail, or you can say, when did I realize ki there has to be the turning point now. This cannot keep going like this. I cannot keep crying. I cannot keep mentally getting irritated, putting myself in a dark phase. I used to have nightmares right here. I sleep right here. I used to have nightmares every single day, most of the time. Nightmares in the sense I was not able to sleep. I used to get up in the midnight, be scared the shit out of myself. I used to get Ganapati Bappa idol, which we pray over here. I used to get that and keep it beside my head. Nah, those were some fucked up days, bro. That was fucked up days. Oh my god. It was very tough. I think that was the lowest point I could have got. Couldn't tell it to anyone. Kept it in myself. Kept it again and again for a very long time in myself. Damaged myself to a very extent as well in terms of perceiving things, in terms of emotional damage. Emotional damage was at a very high extent. I did not want to feel things. I did not want to feel happy. I did not want to feel sad. I did not care what feelings were. I only wanted results. That is how, that is to an extent what I posed myself, which did take a toll on me. I'm telling you, that doesn't come without a cost. It does take a toll on you. Outside world, you would not be able to perceive things better. You lose interest in things. The interest will only start lying in terms of discipline, in terms of want to trade, or we want to see the chart, and that's it. Other areas of interest, you will not have that much interest in other areas of, right? So that is where you might lose because the amount of focus you'll put on this, and you would only want to be successful in this and nothing else. So that is what I saw. So yeah, that is pretty much the story. Pretty dark. So it's been 5 years. I wouldn't say I've not got any results. I know that if I sit and I trade, I can bang on get results. That's there. But yeah, why I'm able to say with that confidence is because I've seen the turning point, right? I know what I have to do. And yeah, I forgot to tell you when did I get that turning point? Is when I stopped giving a fuck about the markets. You wouldn't believe it. It took me 5 years to I wouldn't say that is the only point I had to realize. I realized it very long back, but this year, right? Realizing something and knowing it from the bottom of your heart is different, right? When I realized it, realized properly, then that is when things started changing. I stopped giving a fuck about the market. I stopped giving a fuck about my own process. Everything. I stopped giving a fuck about all the rules that I need to follow. I threw it. I probably pasted hundreds of papers on my screen or on the wall saying I have to follow this, I have to read this. Oh my god, I have done shit, bro. I used to read papers every single day before trading. I used to have a bunch of papers on my wall over here. It's in the opposite side. I used to read each one of them every single day before trading, thinking that if I read this, I know what I have to do. I'm not saying it did not help. Every bit of what I've done for the past 2 years, I've helped in some way. It has helped to have that stepping stone for me to finally become very mentally unstable to understand that this was worth it and not worth it at the same time. You understand, right? So it was something like that. I can go in detail of what each day of my this process was. It's pretty sad, pretty daunting to be honest as well. But that the thing with trading is key. You lose interest in life with other parts or other concept of life, meaning people coming together, people talking, enjoying. You do not find interest. You will find this does not have any purpose. People meeting together, enjoying your family, friends, love. It does not seek any purpose. The purpose shifts. That's a very dangerous thing. I don't call it dangerous, but it's different. It's different. The purpose shift. The purpose now anything you try to look what try to do in your life, you just think in terms of what is the purpose of doing this? How will it reap any benefit? What will I do if meeting people or going out on weddings or getting on a date or something? What is the purpose of this? It does not see any purpose because lakhs and crores of people are doing it, making babies. बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं next day they go to college. They're just following the cycle of life. There's nothing, then they're dying probably. The purpose is not what purpose is being fulfilled over here. Nothing. Working a job, probably starting a business, helping out the world in terms of reducing carbon footprint. You're doing something purposeful, but you'll not see any. But you'll probably appreciate it. But again, the purpose, what you will get or what you want will always overpower compared to whatever is happening around the world. So my purpose was I want just to be consistent and follow my process and trade. That's it. I don't see any advantage outside that, and I started to discriminate or look down upon all the other things that happened in around me. That was very fucked up. Just not be doing that. I think that is what 100% concentration and focus is. Don't know. Let's see what happens. So let's